Bonjour, c'est un honneur d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. Je suis enthousiasmé par la grande expérience acquise en France et par le travail mené par l'Institut français de l'expérience patient. C'est un honneur de partager quelques mots à propos de l'Institut Beryl et du mouvement mondial pour l'expérience des patients. Et comme je vivais autrefois en France, je reconnais aussi que mon français a besoin d'un rappel. Alors, je vais passer à l'anglais pour mes commentaires. Thank you for having me today. And I know the first question that was asked is, what is the Beryl Institute? The Beryl Institute is a global community of practice dedicated to improving the patient experience through collaboration and shared knowledge. We define the patient experience as the sum of all interactions shaped by an organization's culture that influence patient perceptions across the continuum of care. Currently, the Institute comprises over 55,000 members and guests in 70 countries around the world in conversation around impacting the patient experience in healthcare. And for us, the patient experience is bigger than just what happens to the patient. In fact, it's about our cause, which is changing healthcare by advancing an unwavering commitment to the human experience. And we believe we can impact the human experience in healthcare by understanding experiences defined by that definition we shared, the sum of all interactions that people encounter, that we acknowledge that experience encompasses the critical elements of healthcare from quality, safety, and service to cost and population health issues that drive decisions, impact access, and ensure equity of care delivery. And two, it reaches beyond the clinical encounter space to all the interactions one has with a healthcare system. Recognizing that human experience reinforces the fundamental principle of partnership as well, and must be inclusive of the experiences of those receiving and delivering care, as well as those who support them. And ultimately reinforcing that it's focused on action, that experience drives positive outcomes, clinical outcomes, strong financial results, clear consumer loyalty, solid community reputation, and broad staff and patient and family engagement. At the Beryl Institute, our community is to work as a global community of practice and elevating the importance of experience across all care settings. We have focused on engaging a broad range of voices and views. In fact, I had the honor of being on 5 continents last year alone. That we commit to putting patients, families, and care partners first, that we recognize the value of the entire healthcare team, and that we ensure that we focus on healthcare as an integrated view of quality, safety, service, cost, and the outcomes that we drive each and every day. Now, central to what we've done at the Beryl Institute is work to establish a field of practice globally that can impact our work overall. And we've done that through establishing the community of practice through the Beryl Institute, through the 55,000 members and guests we've brought together, but also in building a body of knowledge around 15 domains that is foundational knowledge central to the role of anybody working to improve patient experience in their own organizations. But we also wanted to build the evidence base. So recently in 2014, started the academic research aspect of our efforts through the Patient Experience Journal, which is now read in 200 countries and territories around the world, expanding evidence-based research through peer-reviewed articles and publications that help expand the conversation of patient experience as well. And then we established the Patient Experience Institute to formalize certification, professional designation of certified patient experience professionals that allow people to stand as professionals, a designation now that is closing in on 1,000 individuals around the world, taking a stand for their belief that patient experience is the profession they are part of. So the Beryl Institute has been committed to truly framing a field of practice, bringing together a community globally, and expanding this dialogue and elevating it across healthcare systems and across the continuum of care overall. And we believe it actually expands in terms of a framework of experience that we've just recently launched that says when we think about experience from the biggest level possible, it is about culture and leadership. It is about the infrastructure we put in place. It's about engaging patients and family members in the communities we serve. It's about how we engage staff and those physicians and providers that are part of our healthcare system. It's about the environments we create, the hospitality and the spirituality with which we address our work. It's about innovation and technology and policy and measurement that drive us. And ultimately, it's about quality and clinical excellence. When we think about experience from that lens, from everything that a consumer of care sees, everything that a provider of care engages in, That is our intent, and that is our ultimate purpose at the Beryl Institute, and why it's really an honor to engage and partner with such great efforts, such as what's happening currently in France, to improve and impact the global healthcare experience. So the second question that was asked was, why do you think other countries like France should follow your lead or focus more on patient experience? And actually, I think it's an interesting question, because I would not necessarily say it is following the lead of the Beryl Institute or that countries follow the lead of anyone in particular, but that we as a global community in a global conversation, I really think the question is, why should anyone not do this? I mean, and why aren't we already doing it any place that we can? As a global community at the Beryl Institute, we have members literally tackling this hard work every day at the point of care on 6 continents. And it really isn't about being driven by policy or process. I mean, though policy and process helps motivate and elevate the conversation, rather, I think fundamentally, those of us that believe in this work, those of us that have committed to healthcare as our profession, understand and ultimately know it's the right thing to do. If we believe in the integrated perspective that I talked about before and listen to what consumers in healthcare want, those that look to us for care, for healing, and for help, which based on our research says that first, consumers want us to address their health and well-being, and right after is to treat them as a person, which consumers prioritize to us in the data as being listened to, communicated in a way that they can understand, and treated with courtesy and respect. I come back to this question to say, why should we not do this in every corner of the globe? See, we're in a business of human beings caring for human beings, and human beings have no national boundaries. And while we have to acknowledge the constraints of various national systems, and I've seen them around the world in my travels, such as what we have in France and other countries, we ultimately cross national boundaries and continental edges as one unified global effort. We must do so. That is our intent, and I think that is our collective purpose. See, the tactics of what is right, those are easy, but it's this collective shift in mindset from a transactional healthcare system that might have some relational aspects to a relational healthcare system supported by the transactions that ensure the best outcomes for those we care for and serve, and support those delivering care in each and every day. That's what it's going to take us to do. That is the work that is ahead. And I believe it's the work that will reap us the greatest rewards and outcomes for all serving and served by healthcare. So the last question that you asked me was, what are the 3 main insights you've learned from the state of patient experience? And I think it's exciting to know that there in France, you will be delving into the state of patient experience across the system there. And I believe, as I've seen globally, a lot of the ideas, the elevated importance will come in some real specific and consistent areas. First and foremost, that experience itself, the efforts are expanding. It is now an integral part in the fabric of our healthcare efforts. It's not just something about being nice or making people happy or how satisfied they are, but experience is the lasting story that people tell. And that's what we heard again and again in our state of patient experience data, that people see experience with a new lens in the comprehensive and integrated view that we've talked about earlier. Now, patient experience consistently is now remaining a top priority among healthcare leaders. But what's really interesting about what's happening is the recognition of healthcare organizational leaders to realize that to achieve the best in experience, they have to focus on the best in employee engagement and employee experience. In fact, the fastest growing point that we saw in the state of patient experience from priorities for healthcare leaders was a focus on employee engagement as a central driver to experience efforts. In a business of human beings caring for human beings, we have to ensure the human beings delivering the care are as supported as those receiving it. And as a result of that, we found that leadership and culture are now the most significant motivators for this effort. Early on, it was mandates and requirements, in particular in the United States, but I've seen it in other parts of the world as well, to now understanding that leadership, culture, the ability to engage our people, the opportunity that we have to elevate and engage patient and family voice as well, is ultimately the direction in which organizations are moving. And I think the reality that we are now at a point where people recognize patient experience as integrated in its effort and one that ultimately drives clear and measurable outcomes. This is not a conversation about, like I said, being nice or happy or making people feel comfortable or happy. It's about driving the best in clinical quality and safety and service excellence and ensuring that we create work environments to deliver the best care possible for everyone that's in that environment and delivering through that environment. That's our opportunity. I think that's what the data showed. That's ultimately what I think our global challenge is, and I believe that's our purpose at the Beryl Institute, and why relationships such as what I'm seeing emerge in France and the great work that you will be challenged to take on today and beyond is so important. So I hope you find this information helpful, that it will serve as a catalyst for your work, and I'm excited to follow and engage in the great work taking place in France in the months and years ahead. So I simply end with this. Merci. Et je vous invite à rester en contact avec moi à l'Institut Beryl. Et bonne chance pour vos voyages d'expérience. Au revoir. Thank you very much.